as uh, we know, that topic for today's discussion is achieving problem solution fit and product market fit. So I call it is like a journey. When you the moment you uh, and yes, before we actually begin this session, let me tell you one thing. We are talking of entrepreneurship, we are talking of business. It is not a rocket science, right? So there's no hard and fast rule. So it is better if we discuss more and more. Any point of time, if you feel like discussing, you can ask me to stop, and then maybe we can discuss further. So I would love if it becomes a very interactive kind of meet, rather than one way lecturing thing. So that I would love. Now, coming to, I see this as a journey, in the sense, the moment you think, the moment this idea come to your mind, that let us start a new business, let us create our own enterprise, your journey begins. Okay. And the moment this idea comes to your mind, or this thought come to your mind, that you want to become an entrepreneur, you start having sleepless nights. All right. Why I say sleepless nights? Because that moment onwards, you start thinking about what kind of business can I do, what are the different kinds of businesses are there in the market, which can be my domain. And then you start thinking overall, isn't it? So, and when you start dreaming, when you start thinking, then you start with certain set of assumptions. Unless you actually enter into the market, unless you actually started playing in the market, everything is based on assumptions. Since it is based on assumptions, many a times it happens that the budding entrepreneurs, they actually fail to validate these assumptions. Validation of the assumptions are very, very important in order to avoid any kind of or in order to minimize the uncertainty and risk which is there in running a business, right? Since we are starting the whole idea with certain set of assumptions, and those assumptions are to be validated, that means we need to have a different set of data. And then after we validate the data, then only we can come to a point which is, I would say, less risky in terms of business. The moment we say business, one element is imperative, is pervasive, and that is risk. So we cannot totally control it, but we can take calculated steps, we can take calculated decisions, which will in turn minimize the risk to the most. All right. That is why I say it is a journey to achieve, journey from problem solution fit to product market fit. So if I see the various stages of new enterprise creation or a startup, I would say we can categorize it into three different phases. All right. Formation of business ideas, validation of business idea, and then growth of business, which is scaling up of business. Right. So when I say formation of business idea, anyone from the group, you can throw light. What actually do we mean? What do we do in this stage? Anyone? Am I audible to everyone?
Madam, can you please repeat the question? I am unable to get it. Can
All
you
right.
please repeat the
I
question?
said, in order to create a business enterprise, we can divide the different kind of activities into three stages. The first stage is formation of business idea. The second stage is validation of business idea, and the third stage is growth of business or scaling up of your startup business. All right. So since we are talking of the first stage, formation of business idea, what do you think occurs or happens at this particular stage, and how do you do it?
Ma'am, at this stage, collectively,
Yes.
particular ideas of different new things rush into our mind. Everything in our surroundings create creativeness between inside us, creates new ideas and creates
Hmm.
rush out of it. If we don't
Hmm.
note down ideas, like keep
Hmm.
a data of those ideas, it will
Hmm.
create some hustle kind of thing around us.
All right.
If we write down each and every idea and proper document it,
Hmm.
and which of the idea is what we can say is sensible
Hmm.
to approach, is better,
Hmm.
at this stage
Is
this
there?
happens.
Okay, all right. Mr. Reddy, he
Yes.
has raised hand. May I
When
get to know your views? Yes.
when an entrepreneur identifies a need in the market and builds a solution
Hmm.
that customers want to buy,
Hmm.
that is the product market fit. Then
Okay.
he entered to the market.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
He consult
Ravi
with
Shankar.
others.
Mm-hmm.
He consult with others who are interested in the business and they want to start the business as a startup business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Ravi Shankar, do you want to say something? I can see your hand raised.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, good morning.
Morning.
Ma'am, actually, for me, at the initial stage, according to me, this is more of a self-analysis as well as a market analysis because
Excellent. Excellent.
market,
Yes. Hmm.
yeah, because market will have a lot of problem, and we are not the people to solve all the problems.
Hmm.
We can solve only a few of the problems based on the skill set we have.
Mm-hmm.
So first is a self-analysis because what all are the skill I have which I can use so that I can solve some of the segments, some of the problems available in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So now identification is that identification of that thing and matching my skills with the problems in the market is the first idea what I feel.
Very nice. Very good. Nice interactions. And you've raised a valid point and you know everything about it. See, the first stage you already know, right? Very well. Somebody already said you need to understand the need of the market and then you try to provide solution for it. And very aptly, Dr. Ravi Shankar said that for that, in order to, like when you are doing this product, business opportunity screening, business opportunity selection or identification, the you do two things. One, you try to see the gaps in the market. What part of the market is underserved or untapped? You try to find that, right? You try to find this problem in the society. What is there? What is the intense need that you want to cater to, and that can be converted into business, right? And to be able to select a business idea, what do? You try to scan each and every idea which is prevailing, and somebody very aptly mentioned you start doing certain things, and that is you pick up certain ideas that matches with your profile, and then you try to jot down the advantages and disadvantages or the risks and the benefits of those particular ideas, the workability, I would say, the workability of those particular idea, and then you try to pick up one particular idea which is workable, number one, and which in which you can see some potential that matches with your own strength and weaknesses. All right. So as I said, while selecting the business opportunity, we are doing two things. One, we are doing self analysis, and we are doing market analysis. SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So strength and weaknesses, our own opportunities and threats are there in the market or the business environment. So we are trying to analyze each and everything, and then we are coming to a particular idea that we feel is workable, right? So now the second thing that we do is, the second stage is, now we have come up to a stage where we are ready with a particular idea, right? That can be converted into the business. Now comes how to find the workability, how to find the feasibility and viability of that particular business. Before that, we need to understand, when we are doing the market analysis, what we can do is we have to think, or we have to ask ourselves, what do we want to do? Whether we want to enter into a market which is a kind of red ocean, or we want to enter into a market which is blue ocean. This is a very popular term, blue ocean strategy in marketing, and where the author, he has tried to uh, establish that. Yes, somebody wants to ask something. Dilpreet Singh, have you raised hand for?
Yes, ma'am. There is. I have also not read yet, but it is
Uh-huh.
with me. Book called Blue Ocean Strategy.
Blue ocean strategy. Yes.
It's a
Uh,
very good book.
Yeah,
Referred to
Champion, he
me
has
by.
written this book, and
Uh,
Rene Mabon, they have written this book,
yes,
and this
ma'am.
basically deals with, you have, when you enter into the market, you have two kinds of scenarios, two kinds of situation. One is red ocean. That means you are entering into a market, or your problem is such that it is already being solved in the market and you want to enter as a competitor in the market. That means your market is, you are competing in the market. The other area is that is gray area, that has certain kind of need, intense need, which is not yet served, which is not yet, being offered a solution to. So in that, if you are entering into that particular market, that is called as blue ocean, because everything, there is no competition in the market and you are trying to create a market for your own self. So first of all, you have to understand the kind of solution that you, or the kind of business that you are thinking to take up, whether it belongs to the red ocean or it belongs to the blue ocean. That means whether you have already playing competitors in the market, or you are entering into the market which is entirely new with a very innovative product itself. So if the product is innovative, if your solution is innovative, that means there is no competitor in the market. But we should not forget that the moment we, if we choosing a blue ocean strategy or a market which is untapped, the moment you start playing in the market and you create a promising environment in that particular market, competitors will enter into the market and then it will be converted into a red ocean a market again. So, and then you have to change your strategy. That is why I say when we do business, there is no hard and fast rules. We need to keep ourselves changing. We need to adapt to the changing scenario to be able to survive and to grow in business, right? So you try to explore what do you want to do, whether you want to serve in already existing market, or you are creating a new market for yourself. Now, when you have decided that then comes that you are ready with you have identified the solution, and now you're ready with a problem, and now you're ready with a solution to give to the market, right? So when we say problem solution fit, what does it mean? Problem solution fit is nothing but it is a kind of customer discovery process, and it is a process where you're going to test your ideas. I said we are working with certain assumptions, and to validate those assumptions are important, because unless you validate those assumptions, you won't be able to have a business that has the potential not only to survive but also to grow. Problem solution fit, it is basically about testing the idea and validating your particular idea, right? So and it gives you a signal that yes, there is already a market exists for the business idea that you want to enter into, and the problem the solution that you try to offer to a particular segment or to particular customers, that is actually solving their problem. So what do? Problem solution fit. In order to attain that problem solution fit, अगर हमें वहां पहुंचना है, तो what do? What all do we do? We simply try to get all the information about the customers. We need to see if somebody, that is why I say if somebody takes up entrepreneurship or creating a new business enterprise because he or she doesn't want to study, then please, you should take step back, because the moment you enter into the world of entrepreneurship, you have to keep on studying and researching, right? So the very first step starts with researching only. The preliminary research that you have to do is you have to try to get into the customer's shoes and collect as much information as you can. What kind of information would you collect? For that, you need to have certain questions that you can ask to your customers, to your prospective customers, right? What questions do you think you should ask? Yes, Mr. Reddy.
Yes, identifying customers is very important in this matter. Mm-hmm. And long-term customers should grow. There must be growth in customers year by year. Mm. The market fit must be 60% above, and it should be increased day by day by discussing with the customers and their problems. Then only the industry or anything will flourish.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Any other thing that in order to know your customer, in order to discover your customer, what all information that you want to acquire, what are those informations? Anybody else?
First, we have to ask the customer about what uh, his current purchase, product quality, price, their drawbacks, need of further improvement, what we can fit into that criteria, the requirement of the customer, what we can offer to the customer, new in addition to already existing products, price competitiveness, and quality improvement in addition to the existing product that the customer is using, etc. And we have to display long-term commitment to the customer in order to get the long-term relationship. That's it. Thank you.
All right, all right. Mr. Prabhakar Rao, it seems you want to add something to it.
Yeah, can I add something to it?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, actually, this was clearly defined by Peter Drucker on the 4 Ps. That is the product, price, place. Okay. So now with this, before we start anything in marketing, the need of the customer has to be identified.
Okay.
Which is very important. Based on that, your innovation or your product development or the product that you want to launch, you can start, then doing research on, the place where you want to do it, whether you want, like for example, you want to do it in city or you want to do it in, rural area. So that's part of the place. And then you check the pricing. Is the pricing suitable for the place in cities or is it suitable for the rural areas? So these are the things which are already defined in, the Peter Drucker of marketing strategies.
Yes.
So I think that's the right method of following up, for marketing.
See, you've correctly mentioned any business that has market potential, that has the potential to be marketed properly is a business. Otherwise, it's not a business, isn't it? However, an idea is noble. It doesn't matter unless it can be, it has a market for it, right? So need identification we've already done. क्योंकि उसी को problem को तो we are going to solve, no? So need identification we have already done. Now, what kind of information do we want to know or we seek from the customer is, we would like to know from the customers, is the problem really worth pursuing? What happens if they get the solution for this problem? What would happen to them? And if they don't get a solution to this problem, what would happen to them? And then you need to find the gap. कि उसके existence से, the market offering that you are proposing for your customers, what impact is it making in their lives? Isn't it? So you need to identify, first of all, there is a need you have identified. Now you have to identify, are there enough people having that particular need? That means, and that tells you whether your the offering would be sizable or not. You'll get a proper size in the market or not, right? And then you need to understand, is it actually that bothersome that people want a solution? Sometimes we may feel in our heads that yes, this is a problem, but when you interact with others, you get to know that perhaps that is not that important. The intensity of that requirement is not that much. So the requirement, the need has to be very intense, right? And then you have to ask the customers, you have to try to get this information from the customers that there is a problem and you are proposing a solution. They are actually wanting to have that solution, but are they really willing to pay for that particular solution or not? The intensity will be identified or the intensity will be described there only. वहीं पर उसकी intensity describe हो जाएगी. How? कि अगर if they are willing to pay for that particular solution, that means there is already a demand. There is already a demand for that particular product or that particular market offering in the market. If they are not willing to pay, even if they have ability to pay, that is not sufficient. They may have the ability to pay, but unless they are willing to pay for that particular commodity or market offering, it makes no sense, right? And then we need to understand, if you're not solving the problem, is it going to cost them in terms of money or time? So when we ask this question, we are kind of verifying our own answers. The answers that we have received from the customers, it can be verified. At the first instance, in the first go, it may be possible that you get some positive responses. But unless you pose certain questions, which can verify the answers that you have got from the customers, then the calculation would not be that accurate. Yes, Dr. Sampath, you want to add something?
Yeah, I want to add is that you can also create a market.
Yeah,
There
you can
are two
also
things.
create a market.
One is the existing market
Hmm.
that you're catering to
Hmm.
by these 4 P's of price, promotion, and all those.
Ah.
And then there is you can create a market. Now,
Hmm.
like for example, I will tell you just now
Hmm.
is that I mean there is no need. I mean they have not found a need, but you
Hmm.
can create a market for that where people, when the demand is created, people will pay for that money. There are
Hmm.
people who will take loan also and pay for that because the need is created in the person.
Hmm.
Now, like I will tell you just now, is
Hmm.
what the Chat GPT has been launched,
Hmm.
which is an AI,
Hmm.
which will tell you anything
Hmm.
and give you suggestions and many other help
Hmm.
of anything that you can ask on the earth. Now,
Hmm.
what happens with this AI? It will continuously give you, unlike the Google search or the Wikipedia
Hmm.
or a dictionary. It
Hmm.
will give you an answer, a reply for anything that you want. Meaning, even Google, it will tell you a place. You can find a place. You
Hmm.
can find but in GPT,
Hmm.
it will give you n number of suggestions and notes, and it
Hmm.
can give various other things. There was no need like that. This is a
Hmm.
new market created for themselves.
Of course.
Yeah, and now see, China is planning to launch in April the
Hmm.
same concept. So
Hmm.
I mean, the new concepts will come. You can create a new market for yourself,
Hmm.
and exist, and then products are which can also cater to the existing markets.
Yeah, that is what I'm telling you. That you can either compete in an already existing market, or you can even create a market for yourself. At the very outset, we have discussed that, right? And then, as I said, while validating the problem that yes, it is actually a promising or workable business idea, we try to uh, look for customers who actually need it. But it is not sufficient. We also have to validate the solution that we are going to provide, isn't it? We are telling customers that if you are there with this particular need, we are here with this particular solution. But now you need to, as business persons, as entrepreneurs, we need to thoroughly investigate whether the solution, that you are offering to the market is actually matching the needs of the customer. And you have to be more specific as, I mean, what and how you want to offer that particular offering in the market. So again, you need to ask certain questions, or we need to have some informations on certain points. And those points will be, are the customers going to trust our solution, whatever solution that I'm proposing in the market? Are they going to trust it? All right, is the solution good enough as compared to the, if you're working or playing in the market, underserved market or untapped market or new market that you have created, then there is no competition. But if you are aiming to be in a market which is already existing, and there are enormous players in that particular market, then you also have to match, and you are entering in that particular market with some kind of product differentiation which may give you an edge as a business person. In that case also, we need to check our solution and try to verify whether it is better as compared to the solutions provided by the competitors who are already there in the market, right? And then, if the solution that you're providing, if it is tangible, fine, we have discussed. But if it is intangible, what if it is a service, right? Then in that case, you need to understand whether is it going to be engaging enough for the customers to adopt and keep using them over a period of time. Because if you're providing a solution, one time solution, which they use and the need is satisfied, and next second time it is not required. Say for example, you have prepared a software, right, for a particular problem, somebody was discussing it, isn't it, with the use of artificial intelligence or whatever. So you have provided a one time solution, and if you are not uh, giving a scope for further improvement from time to time, that means you one time you get a customer, but next time it is exhausted. you don't have customers, because they're already provided with the solution that they have. So the solution should be such that it could be used over a period of time, because then only, the moment you only establishing a business is not important, only creating a business is not important. What is important here is that you have to grow. Unless you make the business capable of running on itself, unless you as an entrepreneur make yourself redundant in the business, your job is not over, isn't it? And then as it was rightly mentioned, that it has to be affordable to them. So the pricing strategy, the price that you are going to charge from them, it has to be affordable. And for all these matters, only to check on all these parameters, we use this business model canvas. We try to test and validate the information on all the 11 parameters which are being shown on the business model canvas, which we'll discuss later on in the session if the time permits. Otherwise, we can have separate session for that. And then we need to understand, or we need to know, whether it is affordable enough to keep new vendors off the board for at least for a while, so that you can work on properly. Now, you have validated the problem. You have tried to validate the solution only by asking it from the customers or getting information from them. So there are various methods or ways that help you to validate the problem solution fit, that the problem is actually there and the solution that you have created is fit to that particular problem, right? So there are various ways, but some of them which are being used by the entrepreneurs are like, what they do, they are trying to make use of the information technology. They are creating a landing page for their products or services, and then they are seeking feedback, all right, or communication from the viewers, isn't it? The second is, after doing that, then you get to know that yes, the solution has the potential, or the solution is going to be promising in that particular market. Then maybe you can prepare a kind of prototype, or maybe a demonstration, all right, for the offering that you're going to market. And this time, the second step you can do is that you try to conduct a survey, not online, but with physically with the customers. You choose a group of people, you choose a group of people from your customer segment, and then you try to give the presentation, demonstrate your prototype to the particular customer group, and then you take feedback from the customers. There also you'll get all the information, what is actually required, how can your solution that you are offering to the market is going to be more useful, or it is more attractive for the customers, because they will give you feedbacks. These things are the shortcomings, these are you need to improve upon it. So you are getting feedback to further improve your product. Because when we talk of product, one is the core product, but when it comes as a product in the market, it is an augmented product also, because there are certain elements which are to be added other than the basic function that it is going to provide. So to augment your product, it becomes very, very important that you do survey, which can be online, but we should never try to conduct a survey offline also, in physical mode also, with a group of people, because it not the kind of responses that they are giving, and the expressions which are not said, but you can observe, you, and as an entrepreneur, as a researcher, you can observe, and then you can get some more information other than the words that they are using to give feedback to you. The most important thing is we need to understand, and we need to be honest with the solution that we're providing. So first of all, we need to ask ourselves whether, if I were the customer, is it going to be useful for me or not? If the answer is yes, that means you have got the green signal and you have to go forward with that particular decision. And then we can also take a further step, that we can talk to the potential customers. We can pitch an idea to them. We can give the product or services, whatever is there, to them, distribute amongst them, maybe free of cost, and then try to let them use that particular service, and then try to take feedbacks for further improvement in that particular products. So there are many ideas as such which are working to validate this problem solution fit. I'm sure you guys must be having certain thoughts as well. So if somebody likes to or wants to share something, maybe you can go ahead. Yes, Mr. Dilpreet Singh.
Ma'am, in India, I see I've studied in a lovely professional university,
Okay.
and I have been through 3-4 startups
Mm-hmm.
of my friends.
Okay.
What they lack is that a physical
Hmm.
prototype to be tested
Hmm.
on each subject as a person. Offline mode, which you told already.
Yes.
Offline mode is much more better
Yeah.
because each person has a different mind and a
Yes.
different perspective to that product which is to be launched in market.
Mm-hmm.
Either it is a, suppose, a shoe.
Mm.
A person will see a perspective of shoe in the sense of sports.
Mm.
A hiker will see that he needs a shoe that is used in hiking,
Mm.
or a walker will see a shoes that he need light shoes.
Yes.
So going in offline mode is much more better in
Yes.
products
Mm.
which are physically introduced in markets.
Yes.
And online mode is better for, I think so, online apps and other online services provided by the entrepreneurs or startups which are in their budding stage. Thank you, ma'am.
And social media also is playing a very important role in taking feedback or getting feedback, for anything. Yes, Mr. Reddy.
As problem solution fitted, develop a customer profile first.
Yes.
Conduct a customer interviews,
Ah.
personally and also online, offline. Develop a solution profile. Conduct confirmation interviews with them, and to better the product more efficient to market.
Mm-hmm.
That is my idea.
Yes. Very nice, Mr. Reddy. Excellent. Miss Poonam, you have raised hand.
Yeah, yeah, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Poonam.
Ma'am, as you said, you explained ki whether you are entering in the market as a competitor or you are providing a new solution to the customers. If you are entering as a competitor, then what should be your strategies in terms of your product?
As a competitor. Yes,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
are coming to that. We are coming to that.
Okay.
Abhi we are trying to understand how do we get or how do we achieve problem solution fit. So we have discussed, and in fact, you guys have given the insights. I have not told anyone that yes, you first of
Because
all.
I am planning to start a startup, which I think after explaining you, I'll be entering in the market as a competitor.
So have you already identified the idea or the problem that you need to cater to?
Yes, ma'am. I'm planning since I have done some fashion designing and I'm doing fine arts. So I want to be in the market as a solution provider who can give services in terms of embroideries and waste materials utilizations, and in terms of whatever I feel I'm having a helping hand in my house. She's coming. She's not from Delhi. So such peoples are from outside Delhi, and I think they are very skillful peoples
Mm-hmm.
in terms of अगर उनकी रीजनल्स हम एक्टिविटीज़ और फोक डांस और उनकी स्किल्स के बारे में बात करें, दे आर वेरी स्किलफुल पीपल इन टर्म्स ऑफ एम्ब्रॉयडरीज, वेस्ट मटेरियल यूटिलाइजेशंस एंड निटिंग एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स. मेरे दिमाग में आइडिया है कि मैं उन लोगों को लेके कुछ ऐसा स्टार्ट करूं
बहुत
कि
बढ़िया.
हम वेरी कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव सर्विस में कुछ ऐसा प्रोवाइड कर सकें लोगों को जो कि उनको अपने स्टेट से और उनकी आर्ट से जोड़े रखे.
हाँ जी, very good, very nice. पूनम जी.
There are thousands of people who are doing in terms of this. NGOs हैं और बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो ऐसा कुछ कर रहे हैं कि वेस्ट मटेरियल से प्रोडक्ट्स बनाना, उनको एम्ब्रॉयडरी सर्विस प्रोवाइड करना या ऐसे कुछ भी करना. तो मुझे लग रहा है कि अभी आपसे क्लियर करने के बाद कि आई विल बी एंटरिंग इन द मार्केट एज ए कॉम्पिटिटर. ये नया कंसेप्ट नहीं है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, ये नया कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है. और मैंने कहा ना कि कोई जरूरी नहीं कि आप हमेशा नए कॉन्सेप्ट पे जाएं. जो मैं अभी समझ पा रही हूँ पूनम जी, वो आप जो जिस तरीके का सोल्यूशन लेके मार्केट में जाना चाहते हैं, वो सोल्यूशन आप दोनों के लेके जाना चाहते हैं. आपका जो बिजनेस आइडिया है वो ये है कि एक तरीके से एक तरफ तो आप कस्टमर्स को केटर कर रही हैं, by providing them the whatever goods that you are talking about, the artifacts or the handicrafts item, और दूसरी तरफ आप एक marketing platform provide कर रही हैं ऐसे skilled लोगों के लिए, ऐसे artisans के लिए who are making these artifacts and handcrafts products, isn't it? तो आपका कुछ इस तरीके का बिजनेस मॉडल है. Yes, we'll further discuss it. बस एक चीज मैं आपको इसमें बता दूं कि besides validating your problem and besides validating the solution that you are offering to solve that particular problem, two things are important. That is, मैंने कहा ना कि need तो है, customers तो हैं, people are there with this particular problem, but is the size enough? There are enough numbers of customers who want to get this particular solution or not? Size is very important, क्योंकि आप you may be able to establish a business with maybe a small segment of customers, but in order to survive and to grow in market, you need to have sizable solution, isn't it? And unless it is sizable, even the investors, they won't take interest in your idea, because at some point of time when you're already settled and now you want to take your business to a next level, you want to grow your business, then in that case you need to have support from the investors, because you cannot invest all the money from your own pocket. Maybe at initial stage it is fine, but later on you'll have to look for the investors. And when you are looking for the investors, the first criteria that they have in the mind is, आप अपने शार्क टैंक जैसे सीरीज में भी देखते होंगे कि फर्दर क्या प्रोजेक्शन है, ये बढ़ेगा कि नहीं बढ़ेगा आपका डिमांड. अभी आपने ये कर दिया कि ये डिमांड है, लेकिन क्या व्हाट इज द स्कोप ऑफ दिस डिमांड बीइंग रेज्ड, कि आपके कस्टमर्स बढ़ रहे हैं. तो एक तो वो साइज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, और दूसरी जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है किसी भी बिजनेस में, तो ये होती है कि टाइमलीनेस है. आपने पता चला जो रिसर्चेस तो आपने किए, एंड यू आर ट्राइंग टू वैलिडेट द प्रॉब्लम, you are trying to validate the solution, and by doing that you are trying to discover your customers, and you are trying to get a segment of customers which are already converted. Because जब आप demonstration दे रहे हैं, जब आपने सर्वे के लिए अपना प्रोटोटाइप उनको पकड़ाया, and if they are actually happy, they become your customer. वो तो आपके कस्टमर्स हो गए, और उन्होंने भी आपको ग्रीन सिग्नल दिया दैट यू कैन गो फर्दर. तो वो आपके सिर्फ कस्टमर्स ही नहीं हुए, आपने उनको इस तरीके से कहा कि यू आर आवर फर्स्ट कस्टमर्स, जो वेरी वैल्यूड कस्टमर्स. सो दे आर नॉट ओनली कंज्यूमिंग योर प्रोडक्ट्स, बट दे आर ऑल्सो एक्टिंग एज ब्रांड एम्बेसडर्स फॉर योर प्रोडक्ट. दैट इज ऑल फाइन, बट द अदर थिंग इज साइज होना चाहिए, तभी वो स्केलेबल होगा. अगर मार्केट साइज बड़ी है उसके कस्टमर्स बढ़ेंगे, तभी वो स्केलेबल होगा, और अगर स्केलेबल होगा तो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी तो उसमें अपने आप ही आ जाएगी. सो एज अ बिजनेस पर्सन, व्हाट यू नीड टू नो whether your market offering is desirable or not, whether it is feasible or not, and the third is whether it is viable and profitable or not. So to ensure all the three things, you are making all these efforts. जो आप प्रॉब्लम सोल्यूशन फिट पाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, वो आप इसीलिए पाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. जो आप एमवीपी क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, एक मिनिमम वायबल प्रोडक्ट क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, वो इसीलिए क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज बिफोर इन्वेस्टिंग ऑल योर रिसोर्सेज, एनर्जी एंड टाइम इनटू अ पर्टिकुलर बिजनेस, यू वांट टू बी श्योर that yes, you are going to grow in that particular market. The moment you get danger signals, the moment you get red flags, there's no harm in taking step back. There's no harm in stepping back and start from business opportunity identification and selection again. So as I said, that marketing size is important. So we need to know the total addressable market first. And how do we know the total addressable market? If we are able to understand the industry where we are operating. जैसे कि अगर आप क्लोथिंग में जाना चाह रहे हैं, या आप किसी एग्री प्रोडक्ट में जाना चाह रहे हैं, तो जिस भी इंडस्ट्री में, आप माइनिंग में, जिसमें भी आप जाना चाह रहे हैं, सो वट एवर इंडस्ट्री यू आर ऑपरेटिंग इन, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द साइज ऑफ द होल इंडस्ट्री, एंड इन दैट पर्टिकुलर साइज विच सेगमेंट इज योर्स. So that segment can be termed as total addressable market. So you need to understand what is your total addressable market in order to be a big business, or in order to be able to grow even when you have created the enterprise, right?
Yes,
so now you have come to a minimum viable product. जो लोग प्रोडक्ट की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में आना चाहते हैं, इनफैक्ट ये उनके लिए भी है कि वो एक मिनिमम वायबल प्रोडक्ट लेके आ जाते हैं, और वो मिनिमम वायबल प्रोडक्ट आपको ये इंश्योर करता है whether this product has enough value that people are willing to use or buy it initially, and then it also is demonstrating future benefits. जैसे कि आपने MVP लेकर के अपने कस्टमर्स को दे दिया और आपने उनसे कहा कि यू आर आर मोस्ट प्राइस्ड एंड वैल्यूड कस्टमर बिकॉज यू आर द फर्स्ट वंस। वो आपके अर्ली अडॉप्टर्स हुए, उन्होंने सबसे पहले उस प्रोडक्ट को यूज करना शुरू किया एंड देन दे आर गिविंग signals that yet it is okay perhaps if you add certain benefits, कुछ और benefits अगर आप इस प्रोडक्ट में ऐड कर देंगे या इसके फीचर को और चेंज करेंगे तो ये हमारी नीड को और भी ज्यादा सॉल्व कर पाएगा या इट विल बी मोर अट्रैक्टिव फॉर अस, इजंट इट? तो और ये एक तो वो आपके अर्ली अडॉप्टर्स बन गए, आपने एक कस्टमर को पकड़ ही लिया आपने उस MVP के थ्रू, मिनिमम वायबल प्रोडक्ट के थ्रू। दूसरा, these are the customers, they also work as mentors for you because they are going to provide you feedback from time to time. बाकी कस्टमर शायद उनको सिर्फ एक कस्टमर बन के रह जाएंगे, but these early adopters they may act as mentors because they'll guide you from time to time. How can you further develop your product? How can you further augment your product? So that it becomes much more usable or much more desired in the market, right? दूसरी चीज तो मैंने कहा साइज। दूसरी चीज जो कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है, वो भी टेस्ट करना इंपॉर्टेंट है या देखना इंपॉर्टेंट है, इज दैट व्हाट इज द टाइमिंग ऑफ द लॉन्च ऑफ योर बिजनेस। अभी आप लोगों में से शायद बहुतों को ये आइडिया होगा दैट यूट्यूब का जो सक्सेस है, इट इज नॉट हिडन, वी ऑल नो इट, बट वी मस्ट ऑल्सो नॉट फॉरगेट दैट दिस इज नॉट द फर्स्ट आइडिया ऑफ इट्स ओन। यूट्यूब ऐसा पहला कंपनी नहीं है जिसने वीडियो होस्टिंग का साइट बनाया और आज वो इतना यूज हो रहा है, ठीक है? इसके पहले भी 1997 में shareyourworld.com नाम का एक बिजनेस आया था और उस बिजनेस का भी काम यही था, जो उसका थॉट था उस बिजनेस का, जो वो करना चाहते थे, वो यही करना चाहते थे। दे वांटेड टू अलाउ द यूजर्स to upload their clips or maybe full videos in different file formats. But problem क्या थी? What is the problem? Problem was information technology अभी इतनी ग्रो नहीं की थी, इंटरनेट एक्सेस का जो बैंडविड्थ था वो इतना ज्यादा नहीं था, या वीडियो ट्रांसकोडिंग टेक्नोलॉजी इवन दैट वाज नॉट अपडेटेड, वो इतनी ज्यादा नहीं थी, दे वर लिमिटेड। एंड सिंस दे वर लिमिटेड, तो लोग जो वीडियो अपना अपलोड करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, इट क्रैश्ड और वो नहीं हो पाया एंड इट डिड नॉट सक्सीड। तो shareyourworld.com को आज कोई नहीं जानता है, बट राइट टाइमिंग में एंट्री ली, जब आपका इंटरनेट एक्सेस बैंडविड्थ बढ़ गया और ज्यादा टेक्नोलॉजीज डेवलप हुई वीडियो ट्रांसकोडिंग के लिए, और इस तरीके से और भी बहुत सारी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, ये सारी चीजें अभी आई हैं। लेकिन जब ये टेक्नोलॉजीज डेवलप हो गई और जैसे ही टेक्नोलॉजीज डेवलप हुई, उसी का फायदा उठाते हुए यूट्यूब ने तुरंत अपना बिजनेस लॉन्च किया। सी द राइट टाइमिंग, एंड we know where YouTube is and what YouTube is. It needs no introduction, isn't it? So problem के साथ जो आप solution fit कर रहे हैं, वो promising होने के साथ साथ क्या important है कि आपका जो solution है वो sizable है और उसकी जो timing है launch की, that timing should also be considered, right? तो अभी तक हमने देखा कि somebody has raised hand. Dilpreet Singh ji has raised hand. Yes, Mr. Dilpreet.
Yes, ma'am. The starting customers initial customers in your startups, they are not actually customers. They are the guides to the further business. And if you can retain 20% of those initial customers, they have preferred you. They preferred the particular startup because they expect something different.
Yes.
That's why they have approached you. And if you are able to give them something different and continually the something different is being improved day by day, and they are being retained to you, that will put a stamp that your business will be successful or not. If you can't retain the initial customers, that means your business will not be as successful as you think, even if you put 100% of your effort in it.
That is why we are doing all these exercises, na? कि हम लोग अपना यही रिस्क को मिनिमाइज करना चाहते हैं. We actually want to get it verified by the customers whether they would want us to be in the market or not. So the moment we, as I said, the moment we get a red signal, red flag, danger signal, we should think that इसीलिए कहते हैं कि you should be passionate, but you should not be mad over a particular business idea. You should be passionate only up to that extent that you can calculate the pluses and minuses. And if there are more minuses, you should be able to step back and start thinking afresh, isn't it? So ये सब करने के बाद जो हमारी MVP बन के आई, उस पे हमने जब validation की बात की, then we have now we are ready with a product which is, you know, saleable, which is desirable, and it is not, and it has enough market size, and it is on the right time, and then we can say कि अभी हमारा customers इस चीज के लिए तैयार है, that the target customers, they will not only buy or use it, but they will also tell it to others. That means क्योंकि आपने customers की सारी वो जान लिए हैं, desires जान लिए हैं. Just a moment please. Hello. Yes. So I was telling कि problem solution fit में, to achieve problem solution fit, हमने क्या करने की कोशिश की? Before investing all our resources, energy and time and our mood also in a particular product offering, we were trying to verify it. We were trying to take feedback from the market whether it is worth launching or not. जैसे ही सारे फीडबैक्स आ गए, आपको ग्रीन सिग्नल्स मिल गए, नाउ यू आर इन अ पोजीशन टू अचीव प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट. ठीक है, अब जो आपका जो प्रोडक्ट बनेगा वो प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट होगा. मार्केट फिट क्यों होगा? क्योंकि उसमें डिजायरेबिलिटी भी है, पीपल आर डिजायरिंग इट. उसमें फिजिबिलिटी भी है. फिजिबिलिटी क्यों है? क्योंकि वो उसके लिए जो टेक्नोलॉजी की जरूरत है, उसके लिए जिन जिन चीजों की जरूरत है वो आपके पास ऑलरेडी है. ठीक है, और वो वायबिलिटी भी उसमें है. वायबिलिटी क्यों है? क्योंकि मार्केट साइज इतना बड़ा है, टाइमिंग इतनी करेक्ट है कि उसमें ग्रोथ पोटेंशियल है, इसलिए उसका we can say that it has all the components: desirability, feasibility, viability and profitability. ये सब कुछ उसमें है. And then we have come up to a situation, और हम एक ऐसी इसमें आ गए that we have created a product which is fit to the market. That is why it is called that it is product market fit. एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज इसमें होती है, जब when we are doing survey, ठीक है, whether your product is product market fit or not, right? मैंने कहा कि फीडबैक्स आए आपके पास सर्वेज में, उस फीडबैक को आपने फिर से इनकॉर्पोरेट भी किया, और इनकॉर्पोरेट करने के बाद when you have created a problem, solution, और उस solution को आपने फिर से लोगों तक पहुंचाया, अपने उन्हीं early adopters को दिखाया कि see we have worked upon the feedback that you have given, now this is the new look of the product, what is your opinion about it. और जब उन्होंने देखा उसको, और उसमें अगर आप उसमें पाते हैं, जैसे सपोज आपने 100 लोगों को बुलाया था पहले, और उस 100 लोगों में से at least 50% of the surveyed customers, if they indicate that they would be very disappointed if they don't get to access this product any further in life, that means you get a green signal. That means your product is market fit. यानी कि जो आप सर्वे आप इम्प्रूवमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, उसमें से ज्यादा नहीं है. अगर 40% लोगों ने भी कह दिया कि yes we actually want this product, और इस प्रोडक्ट के नहीं होने से हमें फर्क पड़ेगा, will be disappointed, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. will be happy से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि उसके एब्सेंस में क्या वो डिसअपॉइंटेड होंगे कि नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि वो उसकी डिजायरेबिलिटी को और बढ़ाता है, isn't it? So if they give you this kind of feedback, then you should think that yes we are ready with the product market fit. Yes, Dilpreet Singh ji, you want to add something?
Yes ma'am. Ma'am, I have a startup of strategy firm. It's like you analyze the big data of any startups or any enterprises which is going to start, and you collectively analyze the data to give them efficient improvement, effective and efficient improvement in less time. You get more with the less of effort. Okay. And what I analyzed is that in any instant or any startup or any sector, you see that something today it's leading has started with the 10% better than its competitors. You have given example of YouTube and Share My World, I think so. YouTube surpassed the Share My Video just because YouTube introduced a 10% better than all of its competitor to its customers. And same did the Google did in 1990s in a first browser war with Netscape and Internet Explorer, and Google gave 10% better product from its competitor, and today Google leads all of the competitors in browsers. So the aspects of customers in the initial phase is very important. Even if you give 10% better in the initial phase and later on your competitors provide 200% better, yes, they can't compete with you.
Yes, that is good. और ये मैंने शुरू में एक बात कही थी that even if you enter into a blue ocean, it would take no time to be converted into red ocean. That means even if you are an innovator, you have to keep a tab of the changes that is happening in the market. Otherwise, anytime you can be washed away with the new entrant in the market. For example, आप में से बहुतों को शायद याद होगा, before the advent of this Facebook, एक और बहुत बड़ा मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म था, सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म था, जो कि बहुत ज्यादा यूज होता था. दैट वाज अ काइंड ऑफ इनोवेशन. मतलब वो पहला अपने आप में एक था, फर्स्ट ऑफ इट्स काइंड, एंड दैट वाज एनीवन, you must have used it. Anyone? Orkut. Yes, Orkut. Orkut, सोचिए, there was it was one of its kind, and everyone was using it. ठीक है. जैसे ही लेकिन फेसबुक आया, आज Orkut चला गया मार्केट से. तो unless you are able to keep tap of the changing market, इसीलिए मैं कहती हूँ कि जो business है ना, it is very uncertain, and since it is uncertain, you have to be on toes every time. You have to understand, analyze the market. You have to do research every now and then to be able to cope with the changing scenario in the market. The market is dynamic in nature, so you also have to be dynamic. Yes, somebody wanted to say something.
That is why, ma'am. That is why, ma'am, it's a journey.
Yes, Dr. Ravi Shankar. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I would like to say that, like we keep saying this in the marketing also, that every product has its life cycle.
Yes.
So unless you become innovative all the time, the product has to follow the path of innovation throughout to have a longevity. Otherwise, what happens is the product life shortens and it fades away. Like I can give many examples like this. One is that we used to have a pager. Initially,
yes, pager. Yes, very nice.
There was no mobile.
No mobile. Yeah.
There was pager only, and we used to run to the telephone booth and then make a call and then find out what is the need. So you see that whole concept has changed, and with the mobile, and mobile also has transformed into so many ways, and now it's come into a smartphone.
Exactly.
And today the smartphone can outbeat a laptop or a computer.
Yes.
Doing the same usage as what laptop was doing. But then the innovation or the research that has to be continuously developed.
Yes.
Product longevity is very, very important. Many times I've also seen that for example, I can tell you another example. Is as a product you take Gavaskar. Gavaskar was playing cricket. He was a good batsman. And the time has come that you can't continue to do being batsman. So what classically he changed, Gavaskar or Ravi Shastri or others, being in the same game, they have become commentators. Commentators today, they earn much more money than what they were playing earlier days.
Exactly.
So it has to revolve. It has to evolve into a format which is presentable on the current. That's what I think.
Yes, very nice. And so once you have created your own enterprise and you are moving towards growth stage, wahi par you should be very cautious. Why I say? Since you talked about product life cycle, I would say many people, they think, the new entrants in the market, they think that even at growth stage they become complacent, that my sale is growing, my market size is growing, so we are doing good. No, even at the time of growth, you should start thinking about the innovative ideas, or you should start to bring some kind of innovation, but whether it is in the process of the development of the product, or whether it is in the cost, or it is in the physical distribution of the product. So in any of the elements of that particular product, of that augmented product, I would say, if you are not visible enough to bring in innovation from time to time, even at the time of the growth stage, very soon we'll come to the decline stage. So to avoid decline stage, we have to start working at the growth stage only. जो product life cycle का आपका growth stage हो रहा है, introduction हो रहा है, फिर वो आप introduce कर रहे हो market को, फिर it is growing, then it comes to maturity stage, growth stage, and then it starts decline, and then it may obsolete if you're not visible enough, or if you're not conscious enough. Yes, Dilpreet Singh ji.
Ma'am, at initial stages, the most misguided thing the entrepreneurs in face is that business is a finite thing.
Exactly. Very true.
But it's just opposite of that. Business is not finite. It is a continuous process of improvements. Even if you say you want to reach this goal, upon reaching that goal, you need to move to further improvements.
Yes.
If you stay stable at one place, you will automatically come to a 90-degree turn down.
Yes.
And that is inevitable. I have seen it in many times. Many startups, up to 3-4 startups I have seen, they just fall to their heads reaching at some goal and thinking that they are stable now, it's okay to go stable, but afterward there's a sudden decline and they can't stop that decline.
Exactly. That's, yes, you're right. So we have to be visible, and that is why, even the whole concept. Why are we discussing this? The problem solution fit. Why are we discussing product market fit? Because the whole exercise is being done to gauge the behavior of the market only. How is the market right now? How the market will be tomorrow? We need to gauge, we need to understand each and everything, as I said, in order to not only create your business but also to survive and then to grow. So growth comes later on. First of all, you should be able to survive in a market, and then you will come to the growth stage. And when I'm talking of survival, somebody mentioned it at the beginning only, that we have to think of it in a holistic approach. We need to think about it at micro level and at macro level both. At micro level means as an individual, as a company, as a brand, we need to think about it. And then at macro level, we need to think about the external environment where we are working. Yes, Mr. Reddy.
During the time of Corona, there are many startups came into existence. And they are being utilized by the people who want the supply, and Zomato, Swiggy, and other customers. They have utilized the services of the new startups. What about they are all motive? Their motive is only profit motive. What about non-profit motives? They are also voluntary organizations that served in the times of very crisis. For example, Muslim community in my area, they have voluntary organization, and they have created bodies in burial grounds without taking a single pie. Non-profit organizations. Likewise, the senior citizens were supplied food also.
Yes, yes.
Senior citizens, they have supplied with medicines because they can't go outside the market to buy and utilize them. This is also a non-profit organizations should also be considered, in my view.
Yes, of course. When we talk of businesses, the businesses may be the entrepreneurship, may be corporate entrepreneurship, business entrepreneurship, or it may be social entrepreneurship also. Right? It goes hand in hand. And not only that, even if a business is a for-profit business, still, if you see the trend nowadays, and if you see the kind of responsibility that these even business organizations, business enterprises, they are shouldering upon themselves, is the social responsibility. So we cannot actually ignore, we cannot afford to ignore rather the social aspect of it. Right? So
actually, 2% of the total profit should be spent towards CSR, corporate social responsibility.
That's a rule. This is as per your Companies Act only, isn't it? If you're of a particular size, if your business is of a particular size, then you have to compulsory mandatory. It is mandatory for you to spend 2% as corporate social responsibility. That is right. So what we in fact we can conclude over here is that in order to achieve problem solution fit or product market fit, what we do, since we are working on assumptions, so we need to have data, and that having data is not enough. We need to verify the data and validate it. So when we are validating the data, we are not only validating the problem, we are also validating the solutions. And once we have validated the problem as well as the solution, that means we have come to a point, we have achieved problem solution fit. And once we have achieved problem solution fit, we can develop a prototype. And when we have developed a prototype, which can also be termed as minimum viable product, so when this minimum viable product is achieved, then again we are doing surveys, and then we are coming to a stage, and then we are achieving product market fit, right? So product market fit also we have achieved. Now we are ready to go. Now we are ready to launch our business in the market. But again, at every stage, something is important, and that is called calculations. Or when we were validating the data, we need to do certain maths also in that. सो वही मैथ्स जो है, जो बिजनेस मॉडल कैनवस की जब हम लोग बात करते हैं, so वो it takes care of that only. So all the 11 components which were initially, you know, proposed by the developer of business model canvas: the customer segment, the value proposition, the revenue stream, societal and environmental benefits. Maybe that comes later on, once you create your enterprise and you are you have potential enough to grow. It comes after that. And then the channels that you're using to communicate. See, communication is also very, very important. So you need to strategize somewhere. How are you going to communicate? As I said, आपने अगर सिंपल सर्वे कंडक्ट कर लोगों को बुलाया कि आओ जी मेरा प्रोडक्ट चेक कर लो, nobody will come. But if you communicate to the customers, if you communicate to a segment of people saying that you are our most prized and valuable mentors, please come and suggest us. So the kind of response that you'll get in this case will be different, rather than taking the set of people as customers only. Yes, Dilpreet ji?
Ma'am, here I would like to tell a term or state a term given by Shiv Kheda. Winners don't do different things.
Yes,
They
of
do
course.
things differently. And
Differently.
same term was remodified by Eric Rice and Richard Koch. They termed that entrepreneurs don't do different things. They do things efficiently.
Efficiently, yes.
The difference Okay, the difference between entrepreneur and a business person is entrepreneur will make that same business more efficient
More
than
efficient.
any other manager.
And
This-
not only efficiently, business may come and go, but the entrepreneurs and their enterprise will never go. I said, no, you are successful only once you reach to a point where you yourself become redundant to your business. Even in your business, even in your absence, the business, the system that you have created, if it is able to take care of itself, that means you have done a good job, or you have become successful as an entrepreneur. इसीलिए when somebody asks me who is an entrepreneur, क्या किसी ने बिजनेस खड़ा कर लिया वो एंटरप्रेन्योर हो गया कि नहीं हो गया? वैसे तो सबकी अलग अलग राय होती है, पर मेरी राय यही होती है कि इफ द एंटरप्रेन्योर, he or she, if he or she has made herself or himself redundant, कि they are not needed, उनके एब्सेंस से उस बिजनेस के रनिंग में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, then you have become a successful entrepreneur, isn't
Ma'am,
it?
ma'am,
And
entrepreneur not just work in their business, they work upon their business. There's a huge difference between it. A business man works in a business, whereas an entrepreneur works on that business. How can I make this business more efficient? How can I get more out of it? But a business person is inside the business and he sees the inner view of business. What makes you, if you want to view a painting in a good way, you have to observe it from a far away, from a wider angle. If you go to a painting nearby 1 centimeter, you can't view what you are seeing. So that's what a work of an entrepreneur and work of a business person is.
Yes, you rightly said. Business, if you're talking of business, that may be a different proposition altogether, and enterprise is a different proposition altogether. So I hope we have discussed, and we have got to know how to achieve a problem solution fit and how to achieve the product market fit. Besides, if there are certain questions that needs to be discussed, the floor is open for open discussions again. If anybody would like to add something, or if you want to ask something, that is important.
Ma'am, I would like to add that the term entrepreneur is, I think, mostly misguided in our Indian culture. And all people whom I have interacted till date, who are in a budding stage or a niche stage of their startup or enterprises, they all they are misguided by this term. They say that just opening my own. Like I saw a person who was working in an IT company. He say, I am working in that IT company. I will open my own. I know all the work that IT company does. So what I guided him is that you know what that IT company does. You don't know about what that IT company's business does. That's a wholly lot of a different thing. You know how that business works, but you don't know only the inner work of that. Like a carpenter will go on to open his own carpenter shop, but that's not right. He only knows how to make a table, but he don't know is that how a carpenter business works. If you are in an entrepreneur term, entrepreneurship stage, that means that you will have to handle the work you don't know about till
Yes.
date. You have to
Yes.
handle a lot more than that.
Uh-huh.
Don't just that you know about this business, you know everything, but you have to handle work which is beyond that business. How to interact with customers, all that ideas, how to test the prototype, how to get customer feedback, how to retain customers, all that single segment relate to a whole lot of a bigger business. That's what makes a successful startup very much more evident.
Yes, you're very rightly said. And business, being into business or being into enterprise does not only entails you to be very visible about the market, or I mean the external environment. You have to be equally considerate for the internal environment as well. Unless you are able to be able to make your team happy, which is working for you, with you, you won't be able to achieve that success. So as business person, as an entrepreneur, we need to give attention very minutely to each and every resources, that we are using, and the external environment where we are working. So we have to think and take caution both ways. Yes, Reddy ji. Yes, Mr. Reddy.
Please correct me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to define that the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
Like I'm just trying to give example. Please correct me.
Yes, yes.
A businessman is like a kirana store.
Yes.
He is only doing his activity.
Hmm.
But a marketing guy,
Hmm.
he looks after this, as I initially also said, the 4 Ps:
Hmm.
product, price, place, and promotion.
Yes.
Now, the product he has to develop. So, is my concept correct, or is it something wrong?
Yes, yes. You are correct in a way that when you're talking of, small self-livelihood programs, they can be termed as self-employment. But unless you bring in some kind of creativity and, innovation in your business, that gives an extra edge, number one, right? And that facilitates your business, that enriches it. Then only it becomes entrepreneurship. And as an entrepreneur, you may or you may not create an enterprise. Say, for example, and that is why the corporate entrepreneurs, which are called as intrapreneurs, they are equally important. And when we talk of the high package employees, like IIM graduates, they are getting very handsome amount. Why they are getting? Because they are entrepreneurial themselves. They have the ability to become an entrepreneur. The only thing is they are maybe not creating their own enterprise, but they are working as an entrepreneur in the organization they are working with. So in that case, they become an entrepreneur. So entrepreneur is someone who thinks beyond the livelihood kind of programs, who can have the overall thought. You have rightly mentioned, Dr. Sampath. Yes, Reddy ji, you want to?
Madam, there must be some contact between entrepreneurs and laborers who are working in the industry. But in some cases, there is failure also due to the fact that the government is taking decisions adversely against the industry. For example, I am saying that in Pondicherry state, there was an industry. Regency ceramic industry is a beautiful industry, and it has provided many workers, families, their education, everything they have provided. But the interference of the unions that caused to everything destroyed in Pondicherry state, Yanam. So it is a central, Pondicherry state is a central state, central union. Once they have flourished very well, and they now shut down the industry permanently due to the cause that these workers' unions interfered in the work in a factory demands. Their demands are very heavy, and the factory was closed. Likewise, in Yeluru, there is a jute mill industry that caused 4,000 employees and families. They are gaining employment in that industry. But due to the fact that the union leaders have interfered in the affairs of the jute mill, and that's also it was closed. There must be some relationship between unions and entrepreneurs. This must be discussed in detail.
Yeah. See, that's a different point of discussion altogether. But yes, I do agree. And you know, with this thought only, I actually have huge regard for Tatas for that, because
Yeah.
they've always given due respect to the human resources, you know, who are contributing to their organization and in turn contributing to the society also.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah,
right. You're right. Yes, of course. And that is why when I say resources, both the resources are important, human resources as well as non-human resources. In fact, human resources are much more important because they are the only active resource. They can work on their own. Rest other resources which are non-human, they can only work when these human resources make them work. So most important are human resources in any organization, whether it is a for-profit organization or not for-profit organization like ours. Just a moment.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
हाँ जी प्रधान जी बोलिए.
Hello.
हाँ जी प्रधान जी बोलिए.
Ma'am, there is a clash between to the union and management. But
There is a
clash between the union and management. But it can be mitigated through the consultancy or any of the discussion for that. But sometimes we say that management are too rigid, they are not listening to the union. So there is a clash between. So there is I think it is the lack of cooperation and lack of understanding to that. Or they are not using the human resource properly. Because you have the human resource as the asset. So there is each and every. But you rightly said the Tata company. Because they are the only Indian company, they provide to the all the facility for that. There is no. Actually, I have some experience in Lake Palace Hotel in Udaipur. There is no union. But it is smoothly going on for that. No one has any grievance for that. If there is any grievance, they directly contact to the GM. And it is immediately solved properly. This is the, I think it is the, sometimes it is the rigid decision of the management. That's why it is going to the not solved properly.
In fact, to handle this only, there's a concept of workers' participation in management came. So now many companies, they are using this. They make it mandatory that they have participation from the workers also in their board meetings, right? So for all these things, only workers' participation is ensured in the management. Mr.
Southern leadership's quality is also not there. That's the problem for that.
Yeah. Mr. Prabhakar Rao, he wants to add something. It seems he has raised hand. Mr. Prabhakar.
Madam, I have a question, madam. Actually, ours is a huge population, nearly 17% of the total global population, but our contribution in the international trade is nearly around 1 to 1.5%. Do you think is there any inherent lack of something related to trade, business, entrepreneurship in our Indian population, apart from the government policies? That is my doubt, madam.
See, lack, I won't say that much. See, we are most populous, one of the most populous countries in the world. That is right. So that it has two aspects to see. When we have enormous human resources in our country, but the only irony is that perhaps we as a country, we as an economy, we don't have enough, capital. See, the industry that you can work with, it may be labor intensive, it may be capital intensive. When you're talking of export businesses, that means you have to put in extra efforts in your market offering. Why? Because it has to meet the taste and preferences of the foreign customers as well. So you need to put in extra effort. You need to put in extra effort in terms of quality. You need to put in extra effort in terms of quality of the products, maybe the packaging, the technology that you're using. So for that, we need to have capital. And since we are mixed economy, we are developing economy, government may not, be able to contribute that much in that aspect. That is why government promotes these kinds of activities. Government promotes MSMEs, who wants to cater to the international market also, in by way of giving certain exemptions, by way of giving some kind of funds or grants to them. So government itself cannot do anything because of the lack of the kind of fund which is required. And even if they have fund, they would like to invest it for the infrastructure development like other developing countries they do. So this is the you can say inherent policy of the developing economy, that they seek these kinds of development via the entrepreneurs. And when we say entrepreneurs, MSMEs, they play a very important role, right? So they promote MSMEs only to achieve this. Yes, Mr.
I want to add something, madam. In industrial policy of the government is also important, because free land or at cheaper rates or free land should be given to the industry. Power supply to the industry also is necessary, because nowadays there must be power to the every industry is needed. Road communication of the transport also should be laid by the government only. Marketing facility should be provided to the industry, so that the industry will flourish. Labor availability is also very important, because the labor should be available from nearby places who produces the products. Yeah.
That is true. Yes, you're right. So, is that the end of the discussion?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
There is I think that government can do much more in helping building the nation in a right way. Like our Prime Minister have initiated the Make in India process and self-dependent India. I think that is much better than being dependent on resources like oil. What if our government introduces compulsoriness of electric vehicles in all sectors, and compulsoriness of electric vehicles to be used by every minister and every government employee? That will reduce down the cost of fuel. That will reduce down the amount of fuel we are dependent on other countries. In India, oil is produced, but not to the extent we can fulfill the demand of population. But if it is initiated by ministers and government itself, then maybe or most probably the common people will raise his hand to use these policies and vehicles, hence leading to lessening the amount of import we have to do of the raw oil from other countries. I think like this in many sectors we can government can play a big role, like in production of electricity. What if we install huge amount of solar panels over the roofs? People should be allowed, and people should be given solar panels to be installed on their roof, so that they are less dependent on the electricity produced by the dams and the other electrical resources. So these electricity can be diverted to industry for more production and other things. The common person don't have the amount or don't have the what we can say huge use of electricity in terms of his own personal need. That's very less. It can be fulfilled by, I think so, solar panels if installed on roof.
See, you're right. There can be no entrepreneurship development without government intervention and government support. So yes, that is correct. And perhaps when I see the budget of this particular session, budget 2023, if you see, the more focus is on the macro aspect only. जो सप्तऋषि का जो वो दिया गया, that is to develop this kind of infrastructure only, which is conducive for India to flourish and which is conducive for entrepreneurship. Yes.
Madam, I have a question, madam, again.
Yes,
Actually, every entrepreneur, the biggest problem is accumulation of sufficient capital. We have various government schemes, for example, PMEGP and Mudra, at the initial stage, we have a big problem for the capital. As per the rule book and government policy, there is no requirement of something called surety or mortgage, collateral, etc. But no bank manager will give you loan without a collateral, surety, or something like that. So there is a huge gap between the announcements of the government, any government, announcement of the government, their rules, policies, etc., and the implementation at the bank stage. Because we never go to Prime Minister for the loan or Finance Minister, we go to bank manager. So how we can overcome this problem, madam? Because capital is a very huge problem, madam. Our everything related to capital. Without capital, we can do very less. So how can we overcome this problem, madam?
See, there are two ways. One, we can generate capital by having investors, by bringing in investors in our company. So that we can do. In terms of how to encourage these bankers, the nationalized banks, to grant you loan, the only thing I can say is, unless there is own or you can say the awareness or the mindset amongst people. That is why I say in country like ours, in India, the basic step that we need to take in order to develop entrepreneurship is to create mindset. We are still not into that kind of mindset. So unless the people who are working in bank is who are they? They're you and me. We're only working in the bank, isn't it? So unless we have developed this kind of mindset, which is conducive to entrepreneurship, which can add to the ecosystem, isn't it? We cannot actually expect people to behave accordingly. But yes, as entrepreneurs, I would say that that is why you are called as an entrepreneur, because you don't give up. If you have a promising business, and if you are a good entrepreneur yourself, that is equally important, I would say, or I would say that is more important. Even if the potential of your product is little less, but if you have high potential, believe me, you'll get investors. Investors look for good entrepreneurs, because rest of the thing they'll take care of. The big business houses, they'll take care of the shortcomings that you're having in your product or offering. They only need a right person to work with or to invest with.
Any outside investor want a share, 10%, 20%, or ownership in our business, madam. But we don't want to give ownership unless we achieve some level.
Yes, Mr. Rao, I can understand. You know what? This is the mindset. What is the harm in giving? अब बड़ी कंपनीज की बात करो, उनके तो शेयर्स मार्केट में बिकते, they don't have anything of their own. उनके तो सारे शेयर्स मार्केट में बिके हुए हैं. If they were afraid of distributing their shares amongst people, तो क्या वो इतने बड़े business houses बनते? तो आप अपना शेयर को या अपने बिजनेस को किसी के साथ शेयर करने में डरते क्यों हैं? It is good, isn't it? आपको कैपिटल के साथ साथ एक नया माइंड मिल रहा है, एक एक्सपीरियंस मेंटोर मिल रहा है आपके बिजनेस के लिए. सो आई थिंक as long as the demand of the investor is viable, it is good, it is